Our text today is from the Gospel reading. And the Pharisees came to him, tempting him, and asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" These guys are clever. Give them credit for that much. When they wanted to get Jesus out on thin ice, they asked him this question: is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? Millions of people the world around have asked that question and are still asking it. It's a tricky question. It was meant to be. You can no quicker way to make a fool out of yourself than acting as an umpire in somebody else's marriage problem. The setting here makes the question even more dramatic. Jesus and the 12 have left their homeland behind. Galilee of the North. Beautiful Galilee. Rugged and wide open country with a people to match. Freedom loving and freewheeling. Now Jesus has crossed the Jordan and planted his foot on the soil of Judea. The province of Judea was governed by Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was dominated by the temple, the hub of Hebrew religious life, the center of cultural, political, economic, social life. The religious leaders of Jerusalem never really felt at home among their country cousins up in Galilee. They always felt a little out of place. With their long, white, flowing robes, the blue fringes, the tinkling of bells on the corner to announce their arrival. They were scandalized by the fact that Jesus, the Galilean, mingled with tax collectors and sinners up there in Galilee, that he drove a team of horses through their barricades of Sabbath day regulations and hand-washing ordinances. But now, they have Jesus on their turf. And you can hear the condescension in their voices when they ask, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" Well, what do you say? Yes or no? We've heard you're a big star up there in the bush leagues. Possum Trot, Pumpkinville, Galilee, among all the gaping peasants and uneducated fisher folk. Well, we don't live in the dark ages here. We have a university and culture and country clubs. So tell us, is it lawful for a man to be careful? You're standing on the very spot where John the Baptist stood, and you know what happened to him. He gave King Herod the wrong answer, and John was arrested and condemned and executed over this question. The replay of this ancient scenario goes like this. The distinguished college professor who has written 3 books poses the question to the freshman class. Anybody in here believe in virginity, chastity, purity, modesty. And if some little girl, fresh off the farm, raises her hand, he brings in the big guns of sociology, anthropology, psychology, and makes her run out of the classroom crying. Oh, brave man, big victory. You got to give Jesus some credit for the courage in answering this question. He knew they didn't want an answer. They were trying to embarrass him, trip him up, trap him in something they could hold against him. And Jesus knew it. But he seems to have thought, well, since they're asking for it, let them have it. And he did. He replies, what did Moses command you? You're the experts in the law. What does the law of Moses say? Whoa, they hadn't expected that. Moses never anywhere commanded divorce. And they knew it. And so they quoted the passage, well, Moses permitted the man to give his wife a certificate of divorcement and send her away by quoting the 24th chapter of the 5th book of Moses. They give themselves away. Moses isn't talking about divorce at all. He's talking about remarriage. When a man weds a woman, gets tired of the woman, throws the woman out in the street, marries somebody else, gets tired of her, wants the first woman back, treating her as disposable property, marked down merchandise, second-hand goods. Either honor that woman for what she is, the great creation of God, or give her a certificate of divorce and let her get on with her life. Exactly, says Jesus. Moses never commanded divorce. He allowed it. And that's a different thing. He allowed it because of the hardness of your heart. That's it. All of it. The root cause of every divorce. It's a symptom of a cold and callous and hard heart. Hard toward whom? Well, hard toward God and hard toward the one whom God put at your side. That's why it's almost impossible for us to sit in judgment on a divorce case, because who of us can presume to read a person's heart? Moses allowed divorce because he wanted to prevent a worse evil. See, a hard heart is capable of anything. Cruelty, brutality, murder, anything, you name it. And to preserve the helpless and the defenseless and the little kids, Moses allowed it, but what a damning indictment. Because of the hardness of your heart. A heart that is impenitent, unloving, unmerciful, and unforgiving. You can call it adultery, desertion, infidelity, call it whatever you want. But you know what a hard heart will do toward your salvation. Jesus answers now by lofting the whole realm out of, is it legal? Into the realm of the spiritual. They wanted to know what they could get away with. And Jesus tells them what God intended. They wanted to know about divorce. No. Jesus teaches about marriage. From the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. And for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. And what therefore God has joined together, let not man put asunder. Ain't that a lovely answer? Jesus doesn't start scolding everybody in sight about the collapse of family values. The breakdown of morality, oh my God, the breakup of matrimony. Jesus does not prattle on about mental and emotional compatibility, age, education, social and financial status, and all the other stupidities that marriage counselors think are the very essence of a union. Jesus doesn't long for the good old days when everybody is faithful. And he doesn't wring his hands over the evil of the present day either. Jesus invites you to come back to the dawn of creation. Long before there were state statutes and court rulings and laws and loopholes in the laws and marital rights and property settlements. Listen again to the discussion in the council chambers of the Trinity. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness. God is saying, we got to paint a picture of ourselves. An image that people can see so that the watching world will know what God is like. Remember what happens next? So God made man in his own image. In the image of God made he him. Male and female created he them. No. God didn't make you generic. Mankind in general. He made you very specifically male and female. In other words, he made you for another to fit and fulfill and complete and complement another. And when a male and a female come together and fuse together in body and soul, that's what God is like. 3 in 1. 2 in 1. But the most basic, fundamental feature about you, please, is not your good looks, your sweet personality, the nice car you drive, and the home in which you live. It's your maleness and femaleness. That reminds you that you're not in this world alone. It took 2 people to get you here. Got it? You're never intended to be the prima donna out there in the center of the stage. God never intended you to live of yourself and by yourself and for yourself. Finding yourself, fulfilling yourself, developing yourself, advancing yourself, asserting yourself. Jesus said, and he said it many times, whoever seeks to save himself is going to lose himself. And whoever loses himself for my sake and others will find himself. Now, marriage is not the only avenue of living for others. But in many ways, it is the model way of living for another. What is a marriage? Well, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife. Leaving and cleaving. Leaving means that it is an exclusive relationship. Forsaking all others, the vow has it. And it would have to be that way, wouldn't it? Why would you leave part of yourself behind? Why would you only bring part of yourself to the marriage union? And cleaving means that it's permanent. That you're stuck together, glued together, welded together in one unbreakable bond. Leaving and cleaving, exclusive and permanent. And many of you will say that a husband and a wife make two people in a marriage. He doing his thing, she doing her thing, he going his way, she going her way. Well, that's your arithmetic. God's mathematics is fantastic. In a marriage, 1 plus 1 equals 1. Therefore, they are no longer twain, but one flesh. And you can laugh at that, but it's true in many cases. Usually, you only see the flip side of it. When somebody has lost a spouse, I feel like part of me is missing. Or as this lady said after the funeral, I feel like half a scissors. That's correct. That's not a separation, people. That's an amputation. When part of you is suddenly, half of you is gone. What therefore? God has joined together. Let not man put asunder. Don't you get it? Marriage is about God and about your souls. It's always a mistake to think that it's physical and emotional, recreational and procreation, although that's part of it. Human sexuality in marriage is the outworking of a reality rooted in the nature and heart of God. Did you get the line? They were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. That's the deepest longing within every human heart. To be wholly known. And at the same time, to be wholly loved. The disciples got some more questions, and Jesus has got some more answers on this mysterious relationship. But we better leave that for another day. Amen.